Welcome everybody to Inside the Game Daily. This is your one stop for everything video games. That is Drew. You can find him over on Twitter at Cutter28. Everybody knows Cutter28. And I am Scott Savage on Twitter. Now, we have an interesting mix of things coming up today. We have a little bit of some fallout from recent deals and a whole lot of looking into the future. I'm pretty excited about these topics. Let's just get into it. Do you think Xbox would be bringing back older Activision titles? What older titles do you want to see come back? That's what's spinning around in my head right now.
For sure.
Sony expects Activision titles to remain on the platform, and Overwatch 2 producer says that, well, Bobby Kotick cost them months of production time. So a little bit rough. Of the good, the bad, and the ugly here, but let's start off with the good. Xbox head Phil Spencer says that Microsoft will talk with developers about reviving older Activision Blizzard franchises. Now, this comes from Wesley LeBlanc over on Game Informer. Microsoft Gaming CEO, new title, Phil Spencer, who doubles as the head of Xbox, has revealed that Xbox is going to talk to Activision Blizzard developers about working on the dormant franchises. This news comes by the way of a new interview with Spencer from the Washington Post. He reveals his excitement about the IP Microsoft can now tap into after its acquisition of Activision Blizzard is complete. He specifically mentions King's Quest, Guitar Hero, and even Hexen, a long dormant Activision Blizzard franchise that's basically a first-person spellcasting game. I'm not familiar with Hexen. Have you ever played that one?
No, I've never played Hexen at all. That one kind of escapes me, to be honest, Scott. But there are, dude, I've got a backlog of Activision titles. I'm going, where's this one? Where's that one? Will we see a rare replay like scenario come with maybe an Activision Blizzard replay? Like, will we get that kind of remake of 30 titles or whatever, how many they can put together and bring that over onto the platform? That'd be cool.
Oh, they have a huge catalog to pull from, right?
Absolutely.
So that could be many different compilation kind of CDs. And do you have one, before I get too far into this, do you have one title and specifically that you'd like to see come back? I have one on my mind. But...
Do you remember Rampage?
Oh, yeah.
That one. So I played it way back on Linux in a handheld form. There's nice. A shout out to a system that was just long gone. But absolutely, that is the one right there. I'm kind of going, will we see that come back? The other ones come around, though, Scott, like Toys for Bob just worked on the recent Crash games, right? They brought those to the forefront.
Oh, Crash Team Racing 2.
Whoa, exactly. But that kind of makes it kind of goes, well, here's the thing. Because what Activision does is they go, you can do this, but the minute you're done that, boom, you're on to Call of Duty, right? Mm-hmm. So Toys for Bob produced a fantastic game with the latest Crash Bandicoot 4, and then they went over to Call of Duty to help with that. I was like, oh, but you could like you could bring this back. And now here's the funniest twist of all, Scott. Crash was a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of
right
alt on the internet about that one, actually, that it might be under an Xbox banner coming forward. And well, at least it still exists, though. You know, there's bigger problems out there.
There certainly is. Dave joins us over on YouTube and says, shout out to all the people who really think Call of Duty will stay on PlayStation forever. Yeah, it's we'll get into that discussion. Logical shows up over on Twitch. Singularity 2, please. New Soldier of Fortune. Soldier of Fortune right there as well. A couple good shout outs, man. What else you got for us?
Logical Robot, actually, you got that exactly right. That's what I've been thinking of. Singularity was a smash hit for me. It's something I still think about. Yeah. And that came out in 2010. So I think it's about time for a number 2.
Absolutely.
We just getting back to Phil Spencer's words here. He spoke to the Washington Post and he says, we're hoping that we'll be able to work with them, being developers, when the deal closes, to make sure we have resources to work on franchises that I love from my childhood and that the teams really want to get. I really think it's about adding resources and increasing capacity. So I think this is basically what you got to, pulling some teams away from the new Call of Duty in favor of diversifying what they're producing. And I think that's good news for the consumer. Even if you like Call of Duty, I think just give it a little bit more time between titles, and I don't think there's a negative there, really.
Yeah, Logical says Raven was the bomb back in the day. The biggest thing for Raven now is they're on more of a technical side. Yeah, they are working on the game, absolutely. But their perspective now isn't where you see where like Treyarch is at, right? Like something like that. One of those studios, they're the kind of one of the forefronts, or Sledgehammer for that matter. You know, you talk about Call of Duty, it's those studios you talk about now. And Raven is more in the background, working on some of the technical aspects on the games.
Yeah. Well, time to rein them in. You know, this is a change of scenery, a change of branding, and we'll see what they can get back to, and see if there is a super Call of Duty developer that comes out of the mix that can lead it forward. But
do you think they're going to hold production back a little bit now? You think we'll kind of switch over to a more maybe every other year Call of Duty production? Because for years on end, Scott, Activision has been pumping Call of Duty year after year after year, and we talk about it all the time. Like the latest Vanguard, the story for me just fell flat on its face. It was just one of those scenarios like, I've already been here, the kind of thing, right? Like, do we really need to do this again? But yet, if we back it up the year prior and we talk about Cold War, dude, that game was sick. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, is it the studio? Do they need a rest? Take the year off. Let us get that bit of a, you know, that anchoring, the hunger again for Call of Duty that we don't have anymore because we get it every single year.
Yeah, and it'll give the development more time to be creative, get creative, and tell different kinds of stories instead of having to fall back to
Scott,
very similar things.
Scott, we screwed up. We absolutely screwed up. Logical nailed the game we need to see back. It is Tenchu. I don't know how that escaped me. Dude, that is absolutely the game we need to have back. We have Ghost of Tsushima over on PlayStation. We have Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which is a little bit different. We don't have that true stealth ninja game, right? And that's, bring Tenchu back. Please bring us that one. That would be incredible.
Tenchu was something that fell off my radar, unfortunately, years ago. I played one on 360. I think it was Tenchu Z, maybe, and it was surprisingly good. But yeah. I would like to see a new one come forward for sure. We're big stealth fans here.
Yes, we are.
Now, Spencer has also touched on a worry that he has about tech companies and how they don't traditionally associate gaming coming into the space. He's quoted as saying they, Nintendo, have a long history in video games. Nintendo's not going to do anything that damages them or gaming in the long run because that's the business that they're in.
Sure.
Sony is in the same space, and I trust them. Valve, the same way. When we look at other big tech competitors for Microsoft, Google has search and Chrome, Amazon has shopping, Facebook has social, all of these large-scale consumer businesses. The discussion we've had internally, where those things are important to the other tech companies, for how many consumers they reach, gaming could be that for us. I think we do have a unique point of view, which is not about how everything has to run on a single device or platform, he continued. That's been the real turning point for us, looking at gaming as a consumer opportunity that could have similar impact on Microsoft that some of those other large-scale consumer businesses do for other big tech companies. And it's been great to see the support we've had from the company and from the board. So there's a little bit to read into there, and I think that means he's sort of addressing the issue of, is this bad for the community at large?
Yeah.
The business, the marketplace, and I think that's just a little bit reassurance of, well, we're not going to try and sink Sony. That's not what this is.
That's, no, yeah, that's, well, we stated this before, and I came right out and said, Sony is not in trouble. Like Sony saw their market shares drop and lost $20 billion in one day. But any company would do that when they're the competitor to what Microsoft just purchased, right? Like, that's just the way that happened on that particular day. Sony's about to climb back up. They've got fantastic titles, incredible studios. Like, man, I'm pumped for what PlayStation could showcase this year and what's coming out next month. A lot of people are. PlayStation's not going anywhere, but
no, it's that ebb and flow. It'll go back one way and then it'll swing back the other. That's
exactly
generally how it works. And nobody was very concerned when Sony bought up. Was it 13 studios they now have?
Yeah, they have
this generation. So I don't think anybody was really heard about that other than Spider-Man.
That's yeah. Good luck to you getting that one, Scott. It's but Phil Spencer is so particular with his choice of words. He really knows how to kind of phrase things in a way that he's covered, right? He's so smart and intelligent when it comes to this conversation. And you also know that a lot of it has been written out already, saying, okay, Phil, you need to say this, 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 and this. That way we can stay out of the hot water, what's going to happen in the future, right? So, but dude, we saw what Phil was able to do when he stepped into the world of Xbox, how he's able to flip the whole Don Maverick kind of scenario around and bring Xbox to where they are today. And if it's moving forward this strong, Xbox fans are definitely in a good spot right now, in a good place for gaming. Gaming as a whole, I think, is in a good spot because Activision was in a lot of trouble. I think that's the biggest thing is Xbox probably just saved Activision. Otherwise, people right now, and a lot of people, but there's also a few who really probably don't even know what's going on over in Activision, right? But because we're so ingrained with what's going on in the gaming culture in this space, we followed Activision for weeks. We're still following it. And now this whole scenario flipped around. But I think this is Activision saving grace, is having Xbox sweep in and be able to kind of start removing some of these people that are the issues.
Yeah, instead of steam cleaning and getting the very tiny issues in a large space, it's kind of like switching the carpet out. Now it's a brand new company, hopefully, going forward, Yeah,
we'll see.
But this topic coming up is very related to the last one. Sony expects that Activision games will stay multi-platform due to contractual agreements. Now... This gets a little dicey. This is a big point of argument online is, well, where's Call of Duty going? But let's get into this. Sorry. This is from Danielle Pardis of Game Industry. Sony has issued its first statement in the wake of Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. It is saying that it expects games from the latter to remain non-exclusive. We expect that Microsoft will abide by contractual agreements and continue to ensure that Activision games are multi-platform, a Sony spokesperson said via the Wall Street Journal. Activision has also confirmed that it will not be removing any games from other platforms as a result of the deal. An employee FAQ filed with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. The firm said it will honor all existing commitments post-close.
Right.
As with Microsoft's acquisition of Minecraft, we have no intent to remove any content from platforms where it exists today, the filing reads. Following the acquisition of Bethesda parent company ZeniMax in 2020, Microsoft honored the planned multi-platform releases, which included Deathloop. It also plans to release Ghostwire Tokyo across several platforms in 2022. However, since this deal was announced, the company has unveiled that a number of upcoming Bethesda games, namely Redfall, Starfield, and Elder Scrolls 6, really taking the pantheon there, will launch as Xbox and PC exclusives.
Yep.
Though, as DFC Intelligence Dave Cole notes in our analyst breakdown of the deal, Microsoft is increasingly more able to go beyond competing with Sony and against the likes of larger tech companies carving out a space in the games sector. And they name Google, Amazon, Facebook, and Apple.
Right.
And there is a further quote here. It should also be noted that the console side Call of Duty is really the only big franchise from Activision. Cole says the big issue is if COD becomes a Microsoft exclusive. Right now, I don't think it will. For one thing, it would be so hard to get it past regulators if they want to lock the competition out. I think that answers a lot of people's concern is, well, you can't exactly just kick out the competition.
Sure. But you can eventually take it over. That's what Microsoft did. Yeah. Sony says that they want to reinsure the PlayStation fans, right? That's the biggest thing is they go, hey, if you're a Call of Duty player and you play on our platform, it's not going anywhere right now because of these because of these agreements being in place. That's what's holding Call of Duty to the PlayStation platform. When these contracts are up, Scott, is when you see Call of Duty go the way of Elder Scrolls and Starfield, and you see Redfall there, all being Xbox and PC exclusive. And you'll see Call of Duty follow suit. Because again, you don't spend $7.5 billion to buy ZeniMax and bring Starfield there, and then you spend an extra 50 some odd billion past that to let your competition take one of the biggest shooters in the entire gaming space. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. That is not going to happen. That's just not, dude, that's business. Unfortunately, that is business. And people, if you want to play Call of Duty in a couple years, you're going to have to join the world of Xbox if you're not already there.
Now, there is a few different topics that come out of this. I've seen a lot of rumblings on Twitter and the like, but do you think there's going to be some sort of a deal leveraged with Sony to keep Call of Duty? Because a lot of people are saying, okay, well, this is where Microsoft gets to get a big one-up in exchange to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. And it goes as far as people suggesting, can we run Game Pass games on Sony consoles eventually? And although that sounds very far out there, I don't know that it's impossible.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest thing, right? Because man, we say it all the time. Xbox doesn't care about Xbox. They care about Game Pass. That's their push, right? So they're going to bring everything to Game Pass. Everything moving forward now out of an Activision studio will be on Game Pass day and date. That's the biggest selling feature right there. And they have that leverage now, Scott. Like I said, this is one of the biggest shooting IPs around. The biggest FPS in the gaming space now just went to Microsoft. They could leverage that, right? Okay, we'll give it to you, Sony. You can have it on your PlayStation, but you're going to fork out a ton of money for it. Microsoft really need it? Dude, they just dropped $68 billion. They'll make it back.
Yeah, they need it a little bit now, but not that much.
Yeah, right. They will make that back, but they're going to look at the fact that if you want to bring it to the PlayStation, I'm assuming, man, that PlayStation is going to have to pay for it heavily in order to get that deal over there. But so then this works out for Xbox again, because Xbox makes the sale to PlayStation, and then they make every sale on the PlayStation, they take a percentage out of that as well, right? And bring that over into the Xbox marketplace. But the big push, dude, as I said, Dave says it again, man. There's no way Call of Duty will be on PlayStation. And I got to agree with him. I don't think. Lee points out as well, though, he's got a good point. Sony will keep Warzone and Warzone only. Absolutely, Lee. I agree with you 100%. Warzone is a free-to-play title. So why wouldn't you put it on PlayStation? That makes a ton of sense, right? That one there. But if you want single-player Call of Duty, you're not going to get it over on PlayStation. But for Warzone, a Battle Royale, I think that one works, Scott.
Well, to pull things back that are already on there, that's a much harder thing to negotiate than stopping future titles. You know, like Warzone, it would be hard to pull that off of every device that's not authorized. But Warzone 2, however, I think that's not so certain. But the other kind of middle ground deal that I've heard talked about is, well, maybe Sony can drop some of those fees that developers have to pay to get their game cross play.
Maybe. Yep.
So maybe that'll just kind of open up the environment a little bit more. But
absolutely,
there's still a lot to be seen from that. We're going to be talking about this one for a long time.
Absolutely. There's going to be a lot of discussions, just like the next one we got going on, Scott.
Yeah,
man, it's a hot one.
Here's another one that, well, it gets at me a little bit. Yep. Overwatch 2's producer says that Bobby Kotick cost the team months of development. Now, this is coming from Wesley LeBlanc, again, on Game Informer. He's a recurring character. We see a lot of Wesley LeBlanc, actually. He does a lot of things a lot of articles that I'm very interested in, and this would be one.
Yep.
Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick said that the company's stock dropped due to Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 delays in an interview with GamesBeat. Many blasted the CEO for not recognizing that stock prices may have been affected by the numerous reports of misconduct, harassment, mismanagement, and all that stuff happening at the company. Not to mention that Kotick reportedly knew about it for years and did very little about it. I think that's a lot more damaging than these delays have been. But, however, after the GameBeat interview, an Overwatch 2 producer blasted Kotick for random projects on Overwatch he would force on the team, only to have him cancel said projects after months of overtime work. This this producer also said that Kotick cost Overwatch 2 teams months of development. There is a quote here that I have from a tweet from this producer. It goes on to say, quote, "Bobby, tell everyone about the random projects for Overwatch 1 you would all shove on us. The team would do overtime for them to get canceled and for months of Overwatch 2 dev to be lost. Or how almost entire teams are turning over and citing you as the reason. Don't be shy." Oh,
dude, he's not gonna get an answer.
That's a funny one.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. But you could kind of see that already on the wall over there. Being the Kotick issue is such a drastic issue in the way he's managed. It's all coming out now, right? Like we've been talking about it for so long, Scott. It's just everything is hurting that company right now. And I think, just touching on it again, the saving grace is Xbox sweeping in to pick them up and hopefully clean this out. So, yeah.
Well, I wonder if this is a little bit of kind of putting the blame off on somebody who's already taking a big hit.
That's
because
possible.
Although from what I've heard, like, it's my belief that Kotick has a lot to do with the issue, but I don't know if this is necessarily a fair attack on him. But then again, as the weeks go on, there's just more and more comes out. It's hard to believe at this point that, you know, what else has Kotick done?
Well, that's just it. He's really at this point damaged a lot of the perspective of the company, right? Yeah. That's what it really comes down to. You are the CEO of this company. You are the big boss man who's supposed to make sure everything's going smoothly, not, you know, doing death threats and things along that nature and
that's
making
the one that blows my mind.
Like, it's just incredible that it's even like that even happened. And the culture over there is definitely hindered a lot of the production. I wouldn't doubt that for a second. And he states there that the reason for people leaving is because of Bobby and the turnover. And the turnover is a huge issue when you're trying to get some work done on a game and try to produce a product, and then you keep losing your staff, and then you get canceled later just for some other stuff. Like, it's just crazy, man, to see what happens.
Yeah,
oh dude, I flipped this over.
That just hints at mismanagement in general, not even just
for sure. It's definitely a problem, dude, without a doubt. Scott, we could probably run into one last topic.
Yeah, there's a few more quotes here about Kotick that I don't even want to get into because
it's not worth it anymore at this point. Yeah,
no, the sentiment's already been explained here. But well, I want to end one off on something that's exciting for both of us here.
Sure.
Telltale Games CEO
says
The Wolf Among Us 2 is still happening. And talks to the Expanse.
Dude,
that's what I'm hoping for. Now, this is from Samuel Tolbear. Now, Telltale Games is still hard at work on The Wolf Among Us 2. As per a new interview with Game Informer, Telltale Games CEO Jamie O'Tilley explained that The Wolf Among Us 2 is based on the original vision laid out years ago. Part of that is in the story, which is set around 6 months after the conclusion of the first game.
Yeah.
The news that development was resuming on The Wolf Among Us 2 came during the Game Awards in 2019. While the old Telltale Games used a proprietary engine in all of its games, the new Telltale is opting for Epic's Unreal Engine. The Wolf Among Us 2 is currently in production, though there is no new release date at this time.
Ooh, dude, we just gotta sit and wait, right? That's the biggest thing. We gotta sit back and wait for this, and I'm definitely excited. My wife and I are gonna go back and play the first one. So
now it is noted that The Wolf Among Us 2 is supposed to feature a similar art style to the original game. Even though it's on Unreal Engine, it's keeping that art style, and I'm a fan specifically.
Absolutely.
But we are just about out of time. I'm gonna hit the game releases today. We do have two. They are hit and miss these days, but we have Baby Storm on Switch, and we have Mousecraft on Xbox One. Curious titles, those.
Yeah, those are definitely some weird titles. But Scott, that's going to wrap up today's show. Everybody, thank you for hanging out with us. This has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. You can always join us live over on twitch.tv/theofficialitg, as well as YouTube and Inside the Game Official. If you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. I'm Drew, that's Scott, and it's the weekend, everybody. We'll see everybody back here on Monday. inside the game.